You hear the term AI thrown around all the time, right? But have you ever really stopped to think about the actual magic that lets your phone unlock just by seeing your face? Well, that's not just AI. It's something way more specific called deep learning. And in the next few minutes, we're going to pull back the curtain on this thing and show you how it really works. No complex jargon allowed. I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. You could be wearing a hat, maybe you grew a beard, it's kind of dark out, and yet your phone still knows it's you. How does it do that? Or, when you're at a loud party and you ask your smart speaker to play a song, and it just gets it right. It really does feel like magic, doesn't it? Well, it's not magic. The technology that's quietly running behind the scenes, powering all these incredible things, it has a name, and that name is deep learning. So, what on earth is it? Put simply, it's a kind of AI that's an absolute master at finding patterns. Imagine a super smart detective who doesn't just glance at the evidence. No, they go over it again and again and again, digging a little deeper each time until they spot these tiny, hidden clues nobody else could see. That's exactly what deep learning does with data. Okay, to really wrap our heads around this, let's use a really simple analogy. Think about how you would teach a little kid to recognize something they've never seen before, like a car. You wouldn't sit them down with a textbook and say, okay, a car must have 4 wheels, a steering wheel, and doors, right? Of course not. You'd just point out cars on the street. You'd show them pictures of cars, toy cars, all kinds of examples. They learn by seeing tons and tons of examples, not by memorizing a bunch of rules. And that, right there, is the key to how deep learning works. And this breaks down that whole process. So check out step 1. The very first layer is just looking for the most basic things, like simple lines and edges. That's it. Then the next layer takes those lines and starts piecing them together into simple shapes. The layer after that, it gets a little smarter. It combines those shapes to recognize things like wheels and doors. And finally, after all these layers have done their job, the system can make a final call and say, yep, I'm pretty sure that's a car. So here's the big secret. That word deep, it isn't supposed to sound scary or complicated. It literally just means there are many layers of analysis that the information passes through, sometimes dozens or even hundreds. Each layer just builds on the one before it, going from super simple to incredibly complex. All right, so now that we've got a feel for how it works, let's talk about where you are already using this stuff every single day. And you probably don't even realize it. Your phone's face unlock? Yup. That's a deep learning model that has studied the patterns of millions of faces. You see a Tesla on the road using Autopilot? That's deep learning, analyzing video in real time to spot things like pedestrians and stop signs. And ChatGPT, the reason it can understand your weird questions and give you coherent answers is all thanks to deep learning. So you see, it really isn't magic at all. It's just all those layers of pattern recognition we talked about, working together at an absolutely incredible speed. That's why it feels so smart. So why should you care about any of this? Well, because getting the basic idea behind deep learning helps you understand the world we're living in right now. It's about seeing both the amazing potential and the really important limits. I mean, this technology is the engine driving the entire AI revolution. It's giving us medical tools that can spot diseases in scans, sometimes even earlier than a human doctor. It's the reason translation apps keep getting better, and why your voice assistant is finally starting to understand what you actually want. The positive side is just enormous. But, and this is a really, really important but, at the end of the day, what is it actually doing? It is performing incredibly powerful pattern matching. It is not thinking. It is not reasoning the way a person does. It doesn't understand things like context or ethics or even truth. It just finds patterns in the data it's been shown. And that's a huge distinction to remember. And that limitation leads to some very real-world problems. For instance, if a facial recognition system is trained mostly on photos of people with lighter skin, its pattern matching skills are naturally going to be weaker for people with darker skin tones. The AI isn't being malicious, it's just reflecting the bias that was already in the data it learned from. So, after all of that, if there's just one thing you walk away with today, what should it be? It's this. Deep learning is an unbelievably powerful tool that's already changing our world. But that power comes with a huge catch. It's only as smart, only as fair, and only as accurate as the data we give it. And knowing that makes you a much, much smarter user of all the AI that's all around us.